been reading You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and there was one sentence that completely stopped me in my tracks. It completely changed the way I think about anxiety. But it also made me realize something I've been doing my entire life without knowing it. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Let's talk about it. I'm Brittany, hey, your manifesting mentor. I'm not a coach, I'm not a guru, but I'm a woman who walks the walk and who shares what works. So one thing I've loved about reading this book is that it's taken me back to the beginning. Interestingly enough, I've read Dr. Joe Dispenza's books backwards. I started with Becoming Supernatural, which I really think is a book about mastery. Now I'm reading You Are the Placebo, and it's reminded me that before you ever begin to master your life, you have to understand your beliefs. Because belief isn't just something you think. Belief is something your body practices. And that realization alone made me stop reading for a minute because I started thinking about my own life. Then I came across something else, a word that I honestly had never even heard before. Not placebo. I heard that one. It was nocebo. And learning the difference between those two words made me rethink almost every stressful thought I ever had. See, most people know what the placebo effect is. You take a sugar pill, you believe it's medicine, and somehow your body starts to respond as if it's actually healing. Now that's fascinating. But the opposite is called the nocebo. A nocebo is a negative expectation that produces a negative outcome. And when I read that, I realized that we're creating nocebos every single day. And not because someone gives them to us, but because we keep rehearsing them ourselves. I'm terrible with money. Relationships never work out. I'm not as pretty. There's no way I could do that. I always mess this up. And at some point, those stop being random thoughts. They become expectation. And your body starts to organize itself around what it expects. But here's the part that hit me the hardest. It isn't just what you say, it's what you repeatedly feel. So I recently shared that I've been paying much more attention to my body. Not just my thoughts, my body. When I have a deadline, can I feel my shoulders tighten? Can I notice my breathing change? Can I recognize when my nervous system has already decided that this is stressful? Because if I don't notice it, I'll assume that's just who I am. But maybe it's just what my body practiced. And if it was practiced, it can be practiced differently. That's why I've been doing breath work. That's why I meditate. Not because I'm trying to escape life, but because I'm teaching my body that there's another way to respond. So lately, I've stopped asking, what am I thinking? And started asking, what has my body already decided to expect? Because those are two very different questions. If you've been following my Becoming Supernatural series, you've probably noticed that this conversation goes even deeper. And as I continue reading You Are the Placebo, I'm realizing these books are not two separate conversations. They're building on one another. And honestly, it's changing the way I live every single day. Your future doesn't begin with your circumstances. It begins with the expectation that your body has quietly been rehearsing. I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is your reminder, and you got this.